Hey y'all, I'm Allison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Rail Motor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. And you're listening to our friends, Braggy and Curly.
My favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasters,
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and Curly.
On the
Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast.
Welcome to episode 109 of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. We have got a full board here tonight. First up, let's welcome the co-hosts. We got Braggy down there in Adelaide, and of course we've got Rossi in Sydney. How are you, boys?
Good, Curly. Good. Rossi?
It's lovely to be here. You're looking very well, all of you.
Absolutely. Now, Braggy's got a little bit of news. He's got the Rail Motor boys down there in Adelaide tomorrow.
Yeah, the boys are here tomorrow. Just doing a bit of rehearsal and some writing for the next Rail Motor album. What my main goal for this album is to try and get one of the get one line of the songs to be Curly's quote at the end of the show. That's my whole goal, Rossi.
Just that one classic line. Fancy that.
Yeah. That's all I
Well,
want.
I've got a little bit of news to share, and then we're going to get straight into our guests from Tailor Made Rejects. First up, let's talk about Jermaine. They are killing it over in the UK. The Isle of Wight Festival, they played on all three stages. They just concluded at the Lytham Festival. And just to top it off, they're supporting Sting in some upcoming dates.
Wow.
Mate, they just
time.
go from
Big time.
strength to strength to strength. Three girls, three sisters from Adelaide, of all places. So who would have thought there's talent in Adelaide? I don't know, but
Not me.
fantastic story. Then we've got Ben Penner. Ben Penner just played a festival up there in North Queensland. So... and he just continues to do well, and a little bit of sad news for all those people really looking forward to some October dates from Died Pretty. Unfortunately, they've had to cancel due to ill health of both Ron and Chris from the band. Ron's got some further cancer treatment, so a little bit sad. I was looking forward to seeing them in October. And, you know, we've lost Ryan from the screen, so hopefully he'll get back on.
He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah, so...
Lead singers.
Lead singer.
It's the front man. So.
Look.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, it's the curse of being the best, you know.
So unfortunately that, Rossi, and you probably know a little bit more about the band situation, but that may be the last time we've seen Died Pretty live. Sad to say.
It really is. Like Ron did Sydney not long ago, and it was a full house in Sydney. You couldn't move. It was fantastic. And if that's the case, like Chris, who's been pretty much a mainstay drummer for the band as well. He's a fantastic player, and a really good friend of Mick Majew's and all of those guys because they all grew up together. And he's not well either, and it's just terrible news. It's terrible timing, terrible news. Hopefully, it all turns around. It really does.
Yeah, and I know that there would be thousands of fans that are just hoping that. And of course, health comes first. It's let's just wish Ron and Chris all the best in their respective fights, and hopefully, Died Pretty can come back once they're fighting fit and healthy. So. Tonight we've got the Tailor Made Rejects, and Braggy loves these guys, and we've had both Zach and Alejandro on before, and we finally got the front man, Ryan.
Hey, he's
Ryan
here.
Valley on the show. How are you, boys?
Oh, very good. Thanks for having us.
Excellent.
Again.
We are doing fantastic. I feel good.
Good to be back.
As a prerequisite, I was very excited for this interview because the boys have been on here twice, I believe, and every time I miss it, and they tell me that it's one of the most professional and put together interviews. And we do we do all types of interviews, and like it's just good to hear. It's just good to hear. I'll leave it at that.
Take it, Curly. Take it, Curly.
Well, let's show how professional we are, shall we? Zach, how are those Broncos going?
They are flying right now, and I'm loving it. It's so nice to go every Monday on where we are on the ladder.
Yeah.
Nice seeing in the top 4. You can really tell my mood of the week if it's a win or a loss.
You may not know this, but the competition's won in October.
And the Roosters.
It is, and I think because how tight this season is, man, it could literally be anyone. And I'm so excited each week, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
this ladder is ridiculous. What?
Ryan, do you support any of the teams?
I think St George, West, and Canterbury are out of it, and everyone else has a chance.
Hey, Rossi, you could always accuse them of not playing rugby league in the spirit of the game.
That's a friend of mine sent me a video today that was floating around on Twitter of Jonty Bairstow doing exactly the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Look, you know what my thought is? I reckon the next test, we should just frickin' man-pad Stuart Broad and then become a republic.
Headingley's a pretty aggressive crowd. Headingley's a pretty tough crowd, I got to say. The Poms are going to go after the Australian side. But, maybe the English, as I was reading, maybe English are just masking the fact that it could be all over for them and Bazball is dead.
Yeah, it's not our fault they're shit at cricket.
He said it. He said it in the headline of the day.
Not our fault they're shit at cricket. Put that in a song. Get that in a song.
Absolutely. Hey, Ryan, share a little bit about your journey in the music world. I mean, we've heard from Zach and we've heard from Alejandro before. So what got you interested and keen in the music world?
I think to try and keep it like sort of brief-ish, because it's been an ongoing adventure for like over maybe 10 years now. There's been some real heartaches and massive triumphs, but I think ultimately in the beginning it was for me like a way to sort of escape the situation I was in as kind of a teenager, going through that kind of like angsty sort of teen years and not really knowing who I was or where I was, and trying to discover myself. I found guitar. That's where it kind of took me. But yeah, through a couple of bands, I was kind of still trying to find that voice until I found the Rejects, and the Rejects is kind of where it all sort of melded together and everything sort of started making sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's we always talk about a lot on this show about how music is so good for the soul, and it can be great for your mental health. We've had a few people haven't we, Curly, that even work in that field and use music to help people that have had problems. It's good story.
It's escape, right? Because when you're focused on writing and things like that, you're not thinking in anything.
See, I have a much more like long-winded answer but I have been in interviews before where I'll just yap on for 15 minutes and they'll go, "Oh, that's the whole interview, by the way." And I'm like, "Wait, the other guys didn't get a chance to talk." So I'm trying to think of the most brief way I can sort of explain that journey.
So, as a frontman, do you play guitar too, Ryan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't. Sorry.
I didn't in my first band, and I kind of had that kind of like musical clash where I wasn't sort of really in love with the stuff I was singing over, and then I sort of slowly taught myself how to play guitar to sort of help with building melodies and stuff like that. And I think it was kind of a way I taught myself how to sing as well, as I just sort of have the guitar and I just play a note, sing that, and then eventually taught myself how to sing like that, and eventually sort of learned how to play guitar as well, sort of the same way.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think Alejandro talked in one of our previous episodes how the band is almost like a gelling of Rejects, and that's where the name came from.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because before we started doing the rejects, it was supposed to be like the Ryan Valley project. I had this real like narcissist view on how I was going to handle everything. I sort of came in sort of like that big D energy, like this is my band, we're going to do it my way. And then when I met everybody and I sort of had everybody in the room, I was just like, man, this is not the Ryan Valley project. This is the rejects, man. This is like this is a bunch of people that have all been sort of like cast aside in their selective fields, and you know, people that have been kicked out, people that have left big projects, and it's just like now we're all sort of coming together as a last ditch effort to just do something we love that we lost along the way, you know. And it wasn't the Ryan Valley project after that first jam. I really felt that, and I was like, you know what, we're the rejects and we're tailor made to be that, you know. So that's what it was kind of. Yeah,
that's cool.
And it's interesting because different personalities, we have really different personalities, and everything blends in, you know, the music that, you know, as an outcome.
Yeah.
Once we talk about angst-ridden rock, just seeing how you guys present your personalities, you're all pretty vivacious and pretty high energy, I reckon.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? And as you know, no one ever picks up a guitar unless they think there might be a girl involved at some stage.
Yeah. I think to sort of touch on that point, I think it was just like you spend so many years being that like sad, angsty teenager that you realize that like, man, people don't really connect with that, and so you do have to sort of change the direction of how you're presenting yourself in order to sort of build a little bit more of like a relatable market, you know, because everybody's got their own problems, but nobody wants to hear the same sad, I was sad at 14 and I'm still sad at 30 story. Everybody has that, you know. So,
If I want to do that, I'll get out the first Sunny Boys album.
So we try to keep it positive. We try to keep a positive vibe.
But every band needs someone who, like in Railmotor, we call Waxy the coal shoveler, because he's the one who kind of drives us forward. Like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Would that be you, Ryan? Are you kind of like
no? Hell no. The reason Alex is laughing is because what I bring to the band is the music. I kind of have like the inspiration for the music. I bring the skeletons. Alex is 100% the coal. He's in there sweating with a singlet. He's the coal shoveler. He's making sure the ship don't sink, man. Alex is 100%. The reason. Yes.
What does Alex play?
Lead guitar.
He's lead guitar.
Yeah. But he basically also like pretty much fundamentally manages the band. I can guarantee the band would not be where it is today without Alex. 100%.
You may be right.
All right, so I'm going to put a pause on it because it's time for Braggy's Who Am I?
Okay.
So,
Michael
Are we
Jackson.
ready?
Oh wait, sorry, was that too quick?
No.
Okay, you ready? I was born in San Francisco on the 1st of August, 1942.
Okay, another one.
Okay.
And what do you mean another one?
Another 40s style. Here we go.
It might look like I'm Googling, but I'm not. Trust me.
It's okay. I was influenced by music from an early age, taking piano lessons for much of my childhood. My father was a retired professional musician who owned a bar in downtown San Francisco, and my mother also enjoyed playing piano. My father's extended family would often sing during family reunions. When I was 4, 2/3 of my right middle finger was cut off in a wood splitting accident on a camping holiday. Less than a year later, my father drowned in the Trinity River on another camping holiday. In fact, they should give those up.
Yes, I thought I had hard.
My mother took over the running of the bar, and I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, who opened my eyes to country music and the banjo. That's part 1. Any ideas?
Oh.
Tomeyomi is not.
I kind of felt Tony Iommi too, but
yeah, but
he's
UK.
English.
He's San Fran.
He's
San
English.
Fran's what's knocked me. I'm like, oh, American.
So, like, as a country player from San Fran, like, most country players aren't from San Fran.
It might be a country player just because they started with banjo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
John 5
little Little red flags to you guys.
It feels familiar for some reason, but I'm not sure why. So.
Okay, what does the name rhyme with?
There's 2 more sections yet, boys, so you might get it the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so you guys, how's the live sets going for the Rejects? You're still playing. You were a hard-working band last time we spoke.
They're hard. Yeah, people ask me sometimes, is rock and roll dead? I say no, it lives in the heart of Brisbane. Right there.
Oh, wow. I definitely feel like the live shows have picked up, like they've sort of ramped up. We had a little bit of a plateau once we hit Eden's, and it was kind of like the very first major thing to happen for us, where it was like beyond our expectations. So we kind of hit this plateau, and didn't know really what to do with that, because we went straight from that to then going back to the grind. And I think being sort of naive myself, it took me a while to sort of understand that those things weren't just like up and up. It's like the grind continues, and then you have these bonus amazing experiences, and then back to the grind. And so it took me a while to sort of realign myself with the grind, but we've definitely, the pendulum swung back the other way, and the live shows have become a lot better again. So it's doing really well.
Yeah, and we focus during that time on writing, and the song that we released now is, the outcome of that period working.
Yeah, so let's talk about the new song. The new song's called I Don't Know. Is that right? The latest song?
I don't know.
I don't know. So tell us a little bit around that song.
I guess that kind of came together. Someone else want to take it? I feel like I'm the chat. I do this all the time in interviews. I do the chatty, and I never let anyone else get a chance to talk. Alex, Zick, throw it.
You're the lead singer, Ryan.
You were going to talk. Zach, you were going to say
Thanks,
something.
Thanks, Rusty.
I would say, wasn't I don't know a jam song between you and I, Ryan, just waiting for the other boys to come?
Okay,
right.
Isn't that where
we lost you for a second? Start again.
Sorry, lads. Wasn't I don't know like a jam song that pretty much just happened between you and I, Ryan, from that first riff, and then while we're waiting for the boys to rock up to the room? Wasn't it that? And then we went from
kind of. So we've done that a couple
and
times.
then build from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get lazy in the jam room and I don't bring anything, and I'm just like I throw it to someone in the jam room. I'm like, hey, play something random, and we'll see if we can come up with something. And Alex had the did-in, and he was just kind of playing that over and over again. And I was like, that's kind of groovy. That's got kind of a thing to it. Let's see what I can do, mess around with that. And that eventually turned into like Zig and I waiting for the boys to arrive at the following jam, and then we kind of just like built that structure. We're like, okay, this is really coming together. The hook of the song, that I don't know where, that came from like a really old song that I had worked on, and then I sort of brought it into this one. So
you guys got a bit of a 90s feel about what you do, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Alice in Chains, sort of, like that big fat guitar sound stuff.
Yeah.
Like, who are your faves out of that stuff, out of that era?
Alice in Chains is one of my favorite ones, for example.
Yeah, that's a great choice, I've got to say.
Yes.
The good thing,
my favorite.
Good thing about the Rejects is like not only our personalities and like our like where we came from, but also our music taste comes together sort of all separately. Where and we've spoken about this before, but I'll sort of touch on it briefly. Where like I'm very much like an 80s and 90s. Like I really love that 80s 90s glam era, and I love like early 2000s rock. We're talking like Silverchair, Poison, Guns N' Roses, like the classics. I really love that stuff. And we have our bass guitarist, who's like, he's really into like your super duper heavy like screamo sort of stuff. And Zig, I mean, he's kind of a pop punk guy, but you're an all rounder, Zig, right? What sort of stuff do you listen to?
Yeah, a bit of everything. Like my Spotify is so jank, it's annoying that it's like I can go from Michael Bublé to Slipknot, or I could go from like Insomnia to fucking
and that's kind of what you want a drummer to be like,
sense. Yeah.
You kind of want a drummer to be kind of like versed in everything.
Yeah, you need a bit of versatility. You need to be able to like pull things from other genres and you just go, how can I make this into like an alt rock song.
Mm.
And there are a few songs I've already done where I can pinpoint who I've ripped it off, and no one ever believes me at times. And I'm like, no, I've stolen that. And they're like, oh, no, that sounds rad. I'm like, no, that's not even mine, dude. But it made it work for the song. So you're going to have this kind of broad mentality when you're doing this, like the rhythm section, so you don't just get bogged down into doing something basic or something you've already done.
My favorite thing about writing in this band is that like I'll bring them kind of like a sort of 80s 90s sort of skeleton, just this kind of jam. I always have like kind of a hook or a riff with me, and throwing it to the guys, depending on who I throw it at, it will always get kind of this new meat on the bones kind of thing. So that's what I love about writing in this group, is that because of the versatility in our likeness towards music, is always interesting to see where the skeletons are going to go.
One of the guys I worked with, I ruined that Van Halen song "Best of Both Worlds" for him the other day when I told him that they'd lifted "Celebration" from Kool and the Gang. You have a listen to it.
I'm gonna have to go listen to that.
Yeah.
Really? That's pretty sick.
Every time he plays it, he just goes, "No, you bastard!"
All right, so let's just play a snippet of the Tailor Made Rejects with "I Don't Know," and let's hope that we can pick up on the chorus and Alex's little bit.
Secrets in the dark, from mouths that only see on, like the way you hide and say, I know, I don't know. Hunters on the mark, the prey about roadie on, soon they'll come to find out not their kind. I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know what, I don't know when, I don't know me, I don't know you, I don't know what's, and I don't know them. There's gotta be a better solution from this absolution. I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know what, I don't know when.
You're listening to Braggy and Curly on the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast.
Now, I've got to be honest, that song took me a couple of listens to tune into, but the more I listen to it now, you can hear Alex's little guitar magic that's sitting underneath. I love that. And the chorus is catchy. It's almost poppy, boys.
Yeah. You know what the problem with this song is that the problem with this song was we had a plan to like release certain songs, and this song was not the strongest of the repertoire to come. And we played this song live at Eden's, all the big shows that we played, and this was the song we got harassed about the most. This was like, hey man, I'm on your Spotify. What's that song? That I don't know song. And we sort of had to come to the conclusion that unfortunately we might have to release a song that we don't feel internally is the strongest representation of what we're doing now, but definitely the one that everybody's waiting for, the one that everybody wants. So that's what this song is. It was just to kind of like a thank you to everybody that's come out to see us while we work on the stuff that we're ready to represent ourselves with in the next phase of the band.
Yeah, the proof of
that's such a clever way to figure out that, to go and play it live and get the best reaction. That's so cool.
And you know what? The proof of that is that the first week of the release, we had 10,000 streams.
Yeah.
Whoa, well done.
Yes.
Yeah.
It jumped immediately.
It's crazy.
And it's so catchy, and it's so it's so small as well that it just became like, I can listen to it again. And it doesn't get that annoying yet.
Yeah.
And again, like we played it live and it killed. What's that?
Yeah.
Big medium snare drum. What are you using on that?
Oh, for that recording, I used a Black Panther, Mapex Black Panther something. I don't remember what it was, but it's not exactly the one I used live. I used was it the Tribal Black Panther? But it's a Mapex Black Panther basically, and I've got like the lesser tier of it, and it's the one I use for the entire EP. It's the one I use for another band that I'm in, and it's our producer's snare, and I'm using this. This is a rad, like a shotgun.
That's massive. That's massive.
And at the start, Zach, are you playing on the rim shot or are you playing on the cymbal stand?
Because it's just on the rim.
It's almost kind of like almost sounds like you're playing in tune, like you're playing notes.
Well,
maybe
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
What's funny about that is that when I sort of came to Zig with kind of like the refined version of that, he was kind of like normally what he does is he sits there and he sort of just lets me play it over and over again until he still starts to feel something. And from what I remember, I think he was just sort of tapping the rim in time to sort of give himself an idea of what to do. And I was like, that's genius. Let's keep that. That's actually really cool. And so then it became kind of the intro of the song as it drops, and then it sort of comes into what it is. So it's weird. The jam room is such like a place to blossom the songs in ways that you wouldn't have imagined just doing it behind a computer. Yeah,
I had to listen to it twice. Yeah. At first I thought, hang on, it sounds like a marimba, like he's playing the notes on it. But then I realised that it's not. It's a good recording.
No, it's just a snare drum.
Another thing. Yeah. Another thing, Ryan, with your vocal on that, do you like Mike Patton much?
Definitely not. Yeah, I've heard that once before. Someone that I've definitely heard while I'm like maybe on a walk or something like that. Just like, but not someone I genuinely am inspired by ongoingly, but someone I think that is deep within kind of like the core of my musician. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can hear what you're saying, Rossi, but I think it's
the phrasing more than anything else.
Yeah.
It is well recorded. It's very. It's got that real professional sound, and you've given us a hint that there's more to come, boys. So how many songs have you got lined up?
Well, to go back to what Ryan was saying, that how like I don't know just became we just need to release this thing. So this kind of jumped an entire EP. Honestly, like. We were already lining up to the next one. We already had the idea, and then this song just killed live every single time. We're like, I guess we just got to. It's a 3-minute song. We can go in, bust it out, do a single, and just release it. And and we're also like looking at finances and stuff. And we're like, it'd just be easier to do a single right now, but instead of doing another full-length EP. So we've got songs. We got the next 5, 6. Ready to go? I'm pretty sure.
We're still trying to also figure out what we're going to do as a business, because we love to look at it like musicians, but we also try to look at it from a business angle, and we do get more bang for our buck or return on interest, or however you want to look at it, from just releasing singles temporarily. Because to invest in a massive EP and to invest in music videos, like by the time we did Fading Colors, the EP, and Ghosts of Paradise, the music videos, we had spent over $10,000 to $15,000 just on all of it plus promotion, and the return on interest was amazing. It put us on the map, but it wasn't the level of return on interest that you'd expect from a business venture, an actual business venture. It was very much just for passion. And so we're now thinking, what can we do now that we're on the map to just sort of remain relevant while we build the funds for something really special? And I think for now, I think that's going to be singles for a little while.
Yeah. And in the end, what we make is music, right? And
that's right.
The idea is to release as much as possible.
Yeah,
the new model,
which means that there are going to be songs that like we're just.
You've got an album.
That's right, Russie.
Yeah. So we're going to choose the next like major singles rather than just like the collection of songs as well. So there are going to be songs that are going to wait for a while. So we are waiting for like, the next kind of single hits to do. If that makes sense.
No. And who produced it for you, by the way? Just interested.
Shout out to the great and amazing, illustrious, beautiful, sexy, incredible Chris Ross. He is Chris Ross from Palpitation Studios. I've worked with hundreds of different producers. This guy deserves all the love and praise in the entire world. He's the only person that I've ever gone, hey, I kind of like this album. This is the guitar tone I want. I go into the studio. He's like, here you go. It's exactly the exact guitar tone. Amazing. It was just like, because I was like, all right, give me a Mesa Boogie Tremonti tone or like a Miles Kennedy tone, like get me the higher Miles Kennedy tones for Alex, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Alter Bridge is a massive vocally. Alter Bridge and Miles Kennedy is a massive inspiration for me. That's where it goes.
I've seen him a couple of times. He's unbelievable.
Literally phenomenal. I think he's one of the greatest musicians to grace this planet Earth.
His playing's not bad either, is it? Compared.
No.
Yeah, like,
So
wow, yeah, he's out of the box, man.
he is.
Excellent. So, Braggy, time for part 2, my friend.
Part 2.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
He just learned the banjo. That's where we left off in.
Yeah, he learnt the banjo.
1.
He's got half a finger. His dad's
Previously on Who Am I? Throughout high school, I was encouraged to explore all art forms, including music, painting, and writing, and developed a love for Jack Kerouac, the beat poet and writer, who became a great influence. I often got into trouble at school for skipping classes and fighting, and I began smoking cigarettes and marijuana. My high school band, The Chords, won a contest, and the prize was recording a song. We chose Raunchy by Bill Justice. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but that's a fucking great track. After surviving a car accident that killed a close friend, I realised I needed to make something of my life and took up guitar seriously for the first time. In 1961, I met Robert Hunter, who would become a lifelong friend and lyricist for my future band. We formed the Wildwood Boys and the Heart Valley Drifters together. In 62, I met Phil Leash, who would eventually become the bassist in my future band. And in 63, at a party at author Ken Casey's house, I met Bob Weir. We formed a jug band called Mother McKee's Uptown Jug Champions and performed mainly bluegrass and folk music. I got a feeling Rossi might have it after that. Mention a couple of names.
I say to you that I've once owned a Travis Bean guitar. That's all I'm saying.
Righto.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Charlie, I'm with you on that. I have no idea.
I'm out.
And we're now talking a jug band.
Yeah.
A jug band. So when you mention jug band, I'm always reminded of Homer Simpson sitting out there on the balcony blowing
The Angels were a jug band.
Well done, Rossi. I was about to say the same thing. The Angels were a jug band.
The Pinstone jug band. That's what they started off. That's why the Brewster brothers still play a bit of country to this day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I like this show purely just for its edutainment. I feel like I'm learning a lot right now.
So now you guys are still based in Brisbane. Have you ventured interstate yet? Do you have a fan base to get to, or how's that working?
This is always kind of a weird question because it's definitely in our business sort of playbook of what we want to do. We have people in Melbourne and Sydney that would definitely come out to a show. We also have friends from bands doing this for over 10 years. You kind of build the relationship interstate with some other musicians that are sort of on the same level that are as passionate, as driven. And you kind of like, if I ever go to there, I want to definitely play with this band, so I'm going to become friends with them, talk to them. So I've got relationships in those states with different bands that would be able to bring a crowd. So it's definitely on the map. No, nothing as of yet. Our main goal right now is to basically keep the wheels on, release music, and just build our funding.
Yeah.
Like we'd love to go interstate,
cool.
hands down. That would love to be a goal.
Yeah.
But we just have to wait. It's just not feasible right now. It's just money expensive. All of us with our full-time jobs, just trying to find the time, and it's like, let's just wait, slow down, record, get it all built, and go from there.
You guys open for the Casanovas? Did I say that you guys had opened for the Casanovas recently?
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Electric Marriage.
That's a rock and roll band.
Yeah,
they're very good.
Yeah, they're great.
Did that up at Clounger with Electric Mary, Peaceful Walls, Pandemic, and Delacoma. That was a great show.
You know why we have Ziggy in the band. Ziggy's in the band because he has a great memory.
Yeah.
Good band. Really good band, the Casanovas.
Yeah.
Zach, I was just thinking.
It was a great day.
Yeah. Zach, I was thinking that maybe you can coincide your trip to the grand final for the Broncos with a band, a gig from the band, and maybe you could then use it as a tax write-off or something. And are we jumping ahead too much? As Rossi said, premierships are won in October.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
will the Broncos be there?
Who you got your eye on in Sydney? Who have you got your eye on in Sydney you could play with? What bands do you reckon you could play with in Sydney?
What was the band you guys did an interview with? Like the Dial Denial or something like that?
Yeah, that Denial. Yeah, I remember that one.
Rossi, what would be a perfect venue for these guys in Sydney?
Well, we're playing there tomorrow night, actually, on Friday night at the Duke.
I love the Duke
in Enmore would suit you guys down to the ground. The Duke in Enmore is the place. That's the place of pace for you guys, I would imagine. Good rock and roll venue.
And who would you think they'd play well with?
I reckon there's a couple of young bands. There's a young band I've seen recently called Mayflower, who have kind of got a bit of that going on. They're pretty good. It's Maye Flower, and of course my eternal favourites, Star Crazy, who are just about one of my favourite Sydney young bands. Check out Star Crazy. They're a good rock and roll band.
Yeah. I'd probably have to go through the list to try and figure out who I've got on my friends list and my messages, who I've kind of been in touch with. It's kind of just like a bank that I've got for when the time is right. That's when I'll sort of stretch out the arm for those kind of contacts. Not off the top of my head, though. I got a couple in Melbourne. There's a band called Orpheus Omega, if you guys are familiar with them. They were one of the bands that I came up with when I was in my first band, and they just they did just huge stuff, massive like tours and stuff. So they're someone I definitely want to remain friendly with. They're in Melbourne as well. You should try and Chris from Orpheus Omega would probably want to come on the show. Like, I'm sure he'd be a great guest for the show.
Okay.
Let me just write that down. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
It's
we're also for the long weekend, Zach. Got any plans for the long weekend in October, Zach?
Hopefully watching a game, getting smashed, and not waking up the next day until way late in the afternoon.
That's a good plan.
Sounds like every weekend for him.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've just looked up. I've just looked up Orpheus Omega, and the first thing that comes up is their Australian melodic death metal. That sounds.
I feel like almost doesn't do them justice. It is technically their genre, but almost doesn't do them justice. They are one of the most technically proficient guitarists, and like his vocals are like very good. I'd say just like don't let me undersell it or oversell it. Just have a listen when it's done. They're very, very good musicians. Very, very good musicians.
Put them on a bill with Demon. Put them on a bill with Demon.
Yeah, absolutely. They're very theatrical, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Well, Chris from Orpheus Omega was the very first person to sort of give me a shot. Him and Michael Varley from Before Nightfall. When I first, I hadn't even done a show yet, and these two, who already had established themselves in the scene, had major respect, sort of took a shot on me as an early musician. And Chris was on my very first song that I ever recorded as a guest singer, and it basically kind of put me on the map as a musician in Brisbane. And then recorded an EP with Michael Varley from Before Nightfall, which is sadly broken up now. But both of those musicians amazing. I'm so happy to see Orpheus Omega and so many other amazing bands in Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne alike, just still out there crushing it, killing it. Passionate. Because you can get burnt out easy in this industry. You can.
There's some good bands in Adelaide too, Braggy. Just so you know.
Okay.
Is Adelaide?
We got good mates out there.
We're still playing stuff from last century, though. You know what Adelaide's like.
Braggy, are you from Adelaide, Braggy?
No, mate. I'm actually from Townsville originally.
Oh, right. Okay. Are you living in Adelaide at the moment?
I live in Adelaide. I've been here for 20 years, pretty much.
Let me add Adelaide to that list. Now I feel like an arsehole. Thanks.
It's all good, mate. It's all good.
It's a lovely place, Adelaide. I've enjoyed it every time I've been there.
We just do our own thing here. We're in the half-hour different time slot, and we just go under the radar.
Absolutely. I'm always reminded of that old saying that I love Adelaide. I spent a week there one afternoon. So
Yeah. That's it.
The way I hear it was last time I went to Adelaide, it was closed.
Yeah, that's it. No,
it was closed.
I think the ad goes Adelaide. Adelaide, it's okay.
Yeah, we love Adelaide. It's all right.
I've never been. I guess it was just kind of out of sight, out of mind for me because I've been to Sydney, been to Melbourne. I was actually born in Melbourne, and I live in Brisbane, so it was just kind of out of sight, out of mind. But major love for Adelaide, of course, and the musicians that still kick ass down there. So
just a country town. Oh yeah, we had a few good bands in our time. Come out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, you still got them coming.
Just
too.
a few.
So what's next for the band?
Eternity.
Yeah. What's next for the band, boys?
Well, we are booked in the studio to record the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is next step.
Yeah,
we are taking
just under 10 days.
1 month off. I'm going on leave tomorrow. I'm going to leave tomorrow, so we are having downtime from.
And can we get an exclusive of the name of the song? Can we get a?
Of course. As kind of like a recompense for not showing up the first 2 times being slack. The next single will be called "Inspiraled," and it is much more a representation of the future of the band, definitely. As I Don't Know was more a reflection of what, like, kind of like almost a nice ribbon on Self-Medicate. This next single is like almost the teaser for what is to come for the band. So this is going to be, intricately, lyrically driven, narrative, emotional, big. So it's something to really grit your teeth into, something that is going to be a think piece for us. So
new sound, new vibe.
New sound, new vibe.
It's very different.
But still, in saying that, still definitely captures the essence and love that we have put into the stuff before. And we're working with Chris again, so that you can expect the quality and production that you're familiar with.
But given that Ryan said that Alex does all the work, if he's going away for a month, surely there's a lot of things you can do to make his life easier when he gets back.
Don't give him any idea. I don't want to take up the. What is this? What is it?
I know how you feel, mate. I know how you feel.
I just like looking pretty at the front, man. I just like making the music. Nah, honestly, the reason that we didn't even kind of align Alex to sort of do it. He just sort of naturally takes that manager role so seriously and is so productive and has no problem, making enemies within the band just to move forward. He's okay to like push us and annoy us as much as possible. But at the end of the day, when the sun goes down, we're all very grateful for Alex, and we all do know that without his hard work and ambition and the way he strives to get us to the next step, we would definitely not make it. We would be nowhere without Alex. So,
Alex, you still doing the socials?
Yes. Yep.
So they're still on point. And I have to say, as a observer of the band, I am disappointed there's no film clip this time.
Yes, you got to make another film clip after the last one. That was awesome. The last one.
It was a good one.
You know what it was? I'm kind of a stickler. I think I'm kind of to blame for this. The guy that did our first 2 music videos, Aaron Samadius, I think his name is. He is currently started a new family, and I really trusted him with like the vision for the first 2 music videos, and then we just couldn't really align something that made sense for I Don't Know, because it also wasn't truly a representation of the future of the band. It still was kind of a goodbye to Self-Medicate, so we still incorporate Fading and Ghosts into that sort of family, where in Spiraled we are sort of talking about potentially making a video for that, so something to look out for.
Cool.
Yeah, actually,
and I Don't Know was so rushed as well. Like the whole start of it, we were so just get it done.
Just do it, yeah.
So yeah, the music video was such an afterthought. It was just get it recorded, get the artwork.
To be completely transparent with everybody, we actually had the plans. We had the video. We actually had postponed on the video guide twice. We had the plans. We had the venue. We had aligned to do a music video for this, and just the stars, they didn't align for us on this one. And and it just sort of came to fruition that we were in the jam room. We're like, man, why are we wasting thousands and thousands of dollars on a single that really wasn't a true representation of the future of the band, but more a thank you to everybody. We were like, maybe we'll do like a cut together piece, because we film every set, so maybe we'll do like a cut together piece, but that'll be for the future. Yeah.
Absolutely. Braggy, part number 3 of Who Am I?
Oof, wait. You're just saying the name, right?
At the end, Rossi will tell you who it is at the end. Okay. Previously, we were advanced from the banjo to a jug band, right?
It's a bedtime story.
Something's about to happen to this jug band. Around this time, the psychedelic drug LSD was gaining in popularity. I first used it in 1964 and it changed my life. It changed everything. It freed me because I suddenly realized that my little attempt at a straight life was a fiction and it just wasn't going to work out. In 65, our little jug band went electric and needed a new name. I randomly opened the encyclopedia and found the definition for someone who has died but is thankful for their friend's remembrance. I became the band's principal guitarist, vocalist and songwriter. I was known for my soulful extended guitar solos.
We go for 3 days.
My fame and that of the band's arguably rested our ability to never play a song the same twice. We toured constantly from our conception in 65 to my death in 95. During those 3 decades, we played 2,314 shows and amassed a repertoire of over 100 songs. Because our live shows were such a unique experience, many bootleg recordings were made of our concerts, and we were happy to let this happen. I was one of the front runners of the 60s counterculture and of psychedelic rock. My band was the Grateful Dead. My name is
Jerry Garcia.
Thank you, Rossi.
I feel like that kind of needs a round of applause, right? Well told.
Yeah.
You know what? You should employ yourself with Audible. I think you'd be great at reading books.
Thank you.
I was saying to Braggy, I actually had the same guitar Jerry Garcia plays back when I was a young man.
Wow.
I knew you'd be a Grateful Dead fan, Rossi, somehow.
Yeah.
Those guys actually encouraged people to bootleg their live shows because they never played the songs same twice. And they would tour.
That's intentional.
They would tour constantly, but every now and then they'd have to have breaks because of health issues, obviously.
Yeah.
Some of their shows would go for 2 or 3 days, you know?
Wow.
Like really tripped out crazy stuff. The Grateful Dead is this crazy tripped out hippie story. Wait till you get in that.
They're kind of the leader to prog rock, really.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And like when you get into the stories of Owsley and the acid and where all that came from and all that 60s Bill Graham, Phil Maurice stuff, it's a crazy story. Great stuff, though. Well done, Brady. I like that one.
That was a good one. That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a real good one.
Yeah. I like their T-shirts, so...
Yeah, the artwork.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Big part of it.
Yeah,
very much so. So, any good upcoming gigs for you boys that we can share with the audience?
Alex?
Yes, we haven't. Let me double check because
this is when the manager steps in.
The manager has to step in.
Yeah. We
so
want to keep quiet just in case.
Before he says anything. Yeah, the coal
We
shoveler.
have a show,
Very early on in the band, Alex had made it an absolute mission to make sure we had an aligned calendar because we were awful at figuring it out. So now he has alerts every day that we have something on. It's like an alert. So yeah, he's a genius. That's what I knew. You're the manager of the band. You're the manager.
Well, the next one is on the 16th of September. We are showing in the lineup of Rock Beats Depression. It's a great festival. It's the third time that we participate there. I love that one.
It definitely aligns with our vision and our message as well. Just like that, it's in the name, Rock Beats Depression. It's just kind of like a come one, come all kind of like mental health day for people that don't get out of the house much. So we're like, chuck us on the lineup. That's us. I'm an introvert. I'm in the shell. So it's
awesome.
Yeah, means a lot. And we've done it a lot, and every show we played there, it's just been so fun. And the organizers love this. And we're like, if we could keep playing this, we would, because it's such a good cause. So we're very proud that we have Rock Expression every single time.
Yeah, it's a really, really good one. And the other one that we have confirmed is Halloween show on the 28th of October. already booked and confirmed, but we are having like 3 or 4 more being confirmed, so that we are announcing very soon. So
there's also we're always in the talks with like other sort of production and touring companies for like major supports as well. So but when we did the Nirvana shows, that kind of came up out of nowhere. We had like maybe a week to prepare. So I mean, always keep on our socials, because for us it just seems to happen sometimes. We will get a major support slot almost a week before we go up. So keep posting with us on our socials.
And
like last year was very busy. Like the Bulls on Parade was like 10 days notice, and then the hybrid series shows was like 14, like 2 weeks notice. We're like, oh, I gotta get time off work. Okay, cool.
Dude, mind you, those Nirvana shows that we got, we had never played in front of a crowd that was more than like a bar's amount. And I'd always wanted to play the Triffid, and we got the Triffid, and not only that, but it was like sold out. So I was like going from basically playing bars to like shit my decks, basically. So
and we did the Triffid twice.
Doing like 80,
we did the Triffid twice.
Yeah, we did the Triffid twice last year.
And
it was like going from like 80 people max ever to like 500, 600, and you're like, what's going on?
That was a tough night, man. That was a tough night. But our bass guitarist gave me some amazing advice. 2 pieces of amazing advice. And that he said he played the Triffid once as a frontman for his old band, and he said once you get out there, take that first deep breath, all of that goes away. And I was shaking walking up to that microphone for the first time in front of this crowd, shaking. And I got to that, I took my first deep breath, and I was like, how are we doing tonight? Do your big opener, and then it just all went away. We started playing, and it just all of a sudden we were just back in that jam room again.
Awesome. And that's where you want to be. And I will make sure, boys, that we've got your socials, your Facebook and everything in the show notes. So I would urge everyone who's listening tonight to check out Tailor Made Rejects. They're on Spotify, all the streaming platforms, of course, but their socials is something else. And that's well done, Alex, continuing
That's all Alex.
The socials. So I'm going to start winding up, guys. It's been I thought it wasn't as chaotic as what I thought, so that's we've survived. So well done.
Made it through.
Once again,
we behave.
Yeah, and it's always a pleasure having you guys. You're always welcome guests on the podcast. We just love your music. We love your ethic, and we love the fact that we're going to see a change coming up, and I'm intrigued to see what that's all about.
Yes.
So, and I know Braggy will be as well. Now, we've got a couple of shows ourselves coming up. Next week, we've got a gentleman called Brendan Radford joining us on the podcast. Now, he's just come back from the Big Red Bash, where he played with the John Williamson Band and the Troy Casadale Band. So
country coming up.
So we're going from like a really heavy rock into country. The week after that, we got another country singer from Australia who's recorded in Nashville, and her name is Simply Josie. So we're looking forward to that one. The week after that, we've got a very special 101 episode. We've got Rob Stanier joining us, and we're going to talk about home studios. So how do you set up your own home studio? How can you record? What are some of the basics you need? And we've been talking about that for so long, haven't we, boys? And we're really looking forward to that episode. And then finally, we've got Mick Madu and Ursula coming back to on the 2nd of August. And we're going to finally, hopefully, technology all works, and we're going to have a great conversation with Mick and
we're going to get him
Ursula.
on the dial-up, are we?
No, Braggy. You'll see how it all works. So.
Well, at night, Mick dreams of a red telephone.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. So as always, everyone, if you've enjoyed the episode, please like and subscribe wherever you've watched it. Please leave a review. That's how we get found, and that's how more and more people can support us and support the bands that we speak to. We're on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We've got a website, unfiltered and undiscovered.com. We'll add the Tailor Made Rejects new song, I Don't Know, to our Spotify playlist, and that'll bring us up to about 241 songs on that playlist.
Wow.
And seriously, it's the only place where you can hear the Tailor Made Rejects, followed by the Lime Spiders, followed by Alison Asarch, followed by Sam from Boston. It's just and then Ben Penner, a little bit of acoustic. So it's amazing.
We're honoured to be a part of it. We are honoured to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jupiter 5, Rail Motor, they're all on there, and it's a great place to find the bands that we've spoken to and then obviously go out and follow them. The lyrics from the playlist will be no surprise to our guest tonight, and that's why I don't make deals with the devil, no matter what she's offering. Hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks, boys. Thanks, and we'll see everyone next week. Follow the Tailor Made Rejects. We'll see you all again next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.